Hail, intrepid viewers, and welcome back to the Edgelands. We are here at the Raven's Rest, which is probably a pub, possibly an inn, could be both. A gnarled knotted door, hefty and imposing. From the other side, you hear the clinking of glasses and occasional bursts of gruff mirth. Gruff mirth would be a good band name too. A sudden, unwelcoming silence greets you as you cross the threshold. Wait, how did I cross the threshold before I stepped inside? That doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. And I'm a genius, so it doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't make sense at all. An inattentive man with angular features and tarnished eyes leans lazily behind the bar and makes no effort to engage with you. The barman meets your gaze, the hint of something feral glinting behind his eyes. "A drink, is it?" he mutters, the question sounding not unlike a threat. Say yes. He grunts and looks you up and down. "Got money?" Say yes. You are withered beneath a look of surly contempt. "I mean actual money, not all these moldy coins that have been going around. Been a nasty bout of fool's gold passing through local traders, and I'm having to be more careful. So I ask again, you got money?" Say no. An understanding nod. "Aye, these are tough times for sure. A mean season blows across the land. Well, seeing as you're new, first drink is on the house." He leans in conspiratorially, feral eyes smoldering. "What's it to be then?" "What's it to be? A refreshing green walled ale? Or you think you can handle the Black Beast Stout?" The last three words are spoken in an ominous low voice. "Yeah, Black Beast Stout, lay it on me." A small but unmistakable gasp ripples through the pub. The barman eyes you curiously as if trying to reach out into your thoughts. He ceremonially places a small glass on the bar, dark syrupy ooze glistening inside. Drink it. The liquid slowly creeps down your gullet, spreading dark warmth as it goes. Reeling, you close your eyes, overcome with befuddlement. Images of black branches overwhelm you, sensations of moving swiftly through dense roots and undergrowth. Just as your legs begin to buckle, a loud cough from behind the bar hoists you back to your current location. Though faint and wild whispers linger still in your mind. Can I drink the other one? No. A gnarled old man hunches on an unsteady stool, milky eyes distant and unfocused. He blinks and squints in your direction. When he speaks, the voice is far off and somber, carrying the weight of great ruefulness. "Can't a man have a drink in solitude anymore? Away with you, I'm no mood for blathering to outsiders." Okay. Short and sweet and to the point. A burly bearded lump of a figure loiters languidly here, occasionally stabbing a chunky finger at a mobile phone. The voice is low and heavy, like the grinding of a millstone. "Leave me be, stranger. I've had a long day lurking in culverts, and I'm not talking to nobody till I've had a proper drink." Also short and to the point. I like these guys. None of that namby-pamby, chit-chat, wasting time. What does this door say? Presumably this is my goal. A hefty door of dark oak, the word cellar printed neatly across it in faded green ink. You are not surprised when the door remains stoutly shut. From behind the bar comes a gruff bark of annoyance, and a stern look from the barman leads you to believe that the door is best left to its own oaky business. Alrighty then. I obtained nothing other than a strange drink. We'll see if that makes a lick of difference. Ah, the black rat. You better run, black rat. A grotty assortment of rusty containers and bins overflowing with food scraps and detritus, clouds of dark, malicious flies swirling above. You tentatively investigate the unsavory scene, but are unwilling to delve too deeply into the waste. You may have more luck if you were looking for something specific, but as it is, groveling around in the disgusting mire provides very little satisfaction. I can't get no. What do I need? I gotta come back here after I figure out what I need. Kitty cat. A gathering of rough wooden planks fashioned into a makeshift sign, the words East River Ferry daubed scruffily across it. A soggy scrap of parchment flutters fitfully on a nail. Though the letter on the parchment seems archaic and strange, you are able to unravel the meaning they seek to convey. Ferryman gone to pub. That would be the gruff old man. Can I just steal the boat? I mean, I don't mean to diminish the noble profession of ferrying. but I suspect I could go it on my own. I can't see the whole river, and I can certainly conceive of a river that I could not ferry myself across, but I think on average, I could probably ferry myself across this river, maybe even most rivers. You see a portentous cave mouth leading into the cliff here. The ground around the entrance is strewn with litter and what looks disturbingly like bones. Putting squeamish thoughts aside, you gingerly pick through the scattering remains, and you are relieved to find that they appear to be the remnants of greedily devoured food, chops stripped clean of all meat, chicken legs sucked down to the bone, and even a few discarded fast food cartons. There's water in here. Ooh, a siren. With a beard? A male siren. A ganglesome, it's not an actual word, figure stands in the dripping recesses of the cave, all lank limbs and shaggy mane. It ceaselessly plays a beguiling tune on a battered, shimmering violin, seemingly unaware or untroubled by its watery stage. I should have listened to Hit Talk. You do your best to get the thing's attention, but it offers nothing in return save a baleful, hungry gaze and the weaving drone of strings and bow. The music is laced with restless, feral yearning, an ebb and flow which conjures shadowy images in your mind. Birds flying against a pale moon, the rustling of undergrowth, water cascading over rocks. That sounds quite pleasant. I guess I already listened. Leave is the only option. Okay. We did our thing. Ah! A coiled patch of withered plants slumps forlornly at the water's edge, fragile and listless. I'll take you, plant. You root around among damp, wistful stems, but find nothing worth taking. Well, tartar sauce. I have made no progress. The brisk river air wafts gently through the cave mouth. That sounds kind of like a vocal warm-up exercise. What am I missing? Perhaps I need to go bother the ferryman a little more. In a game where my max speed is so slow, I should really try to minimize any backtracking I have to do. Although I suppose I have no one to blame but myself. Let's see if this bears any fruit, and in this case, fruit, I mean, I don't know, a different dialogue. Not tree, branch, different branch. Let's bother this fool. Bother. What do you got? Ask about Ferryman. Roomy eyes point vaguely in your direction. Look, maybe I'll talk if you bring me something to lift my spirits. Maybe a little nice glimmerwort flower. You'd huddle yourself down to the river and see if you can find any still in bloom, and don't go getting yourself wrong down there. All manner of mischief in the air this evening. Okay, so that necessarily meant I had to walk down to the ferry, then back up to this guy. I guess the sign was supposed to indicate that, because now I'm supposed to go all the way back down to the cave, it sounds like. I'll check out the garbage on the way there, but that seemed pretty clearly to indicate to me that I should go all the way to the river. Anything new here? Search for meat. Ah! You tentatively investigate the unsavory scene, but are unwilling to delve too deeply, blah blah blah. You notice a slippery haunch of cooked meat submerged in a pile of potato peelings, which you reluctantly take. I don't know how I knew I wanted meat. I guess those cutlet bones indicate a meat eater. Are these cattails the flowers I crave? Nope. Hopefully I can just give him meat and he'll give me flowers. Just like the real world, whenever I want to get flowers from my lady, I trade some meat. Or maybe she wants meat instead. I don't know where I was going with that. It seemed like a funny joke in my head at first. Hard to think ahead and talk at the same time. But it'll get better. Can I examine these now? Anything useful? No. Give me a strand of your beard. That's what I really want. Offer meat. You place the meat at the water's edge, feeling compelled to curtsy slightly as you do so. The lank fiddler's eyes light up when it sees your offering. There is the smallest nod of acknowledgement, and the sound of his violin blossoms and flourishes in gratitude. Aha! Aha, cool. A patch of delicate wild flowers sways gently among the water's edge, their translucent, luminous petals and whimsical scent bringing you a small sense of comfort in this otherwise gloomy hollow. You carefully select a particularly bright bloom and gently pluck it from the dank soil. Dank soil. Yes, yes. Ferryman, I have your flower, and I cannot sprint back to you. Well, I'm feeling lazy. Let's fast forward back to the Ferryman. As you approach his perch, the old man looks up and sniffs. You hand over the flower and his face softens into a bittersweet smile. He inhales a deep, fragrant draught of glimmerwort scent, his eyes turning momentarily bright and clear. Then he turns to you and speaks in a frail, faraway voice.
Glimmerwort always reminds me of the old times, tending crops and laboring in the marshes, stoking the mulch, harvesting lugworms, tending the wards.
His words trail off, his eyes mist over, and he returns to his drink, making no mention of the Ferryman. You, conduct you now? Anything new? Ask about Ferryman. You see the stirrings of some nefarious plan ripple across the scraggly face, and he turns to you. What's this guy sound like? It's gonna be, Am I the Ferryman, you ask? Well, let us suppose I might be. Let us suppose I'm willing to share all sorts of information as to whether I am or am not the Ferryman. If you were to fetch me a bottle of good whiskey from that lollygagging lazybone... The phone is waved towards the barman. Well, I can try. I still have that vial of stuff, don't I, from 2 screens ago? Ask about whiskey. The barman winces briefly and glares at the bearded hulk, who suddenly becomes even more concerned with his phone. I suppose he won't give over till he gets a drop. Fine. There is a deep sigh, a sigh of many layers, all intertwined and tangled, a complex symphony of a sigh. He leans over and slides the bolt of the cellar door. Down you go, then. Just mind not to disturb anything. I did not ask him about the Ferryman. I guess it wouldn't have really gone anywhere anyway. I'm sure there won't be anything weird or strange down here. It's gonna be a perfectly normal cellar. A crumbling stone wall plays host to a large selection of cobweb-shrouded bottles. Judging by the faded labels and layers of dust, they have not been disturbed for a very long time. Squinting in the dingy lights, you scan the legible labels. Old Muckwold, Witch's Fancy, Darklight Ale, Wormwood Special Reserve. Finally, you happen upon a bottle with the faded word whiskey on a weathered label, and you carefully slide it from the shelf. What else is down here? Absolutely nothing. I quite expected more. Don't know why I expected more. I am slightly disappointed there was not more. Not extremely disappointed, just slightly. What are you gonna do? Okay. Got your whiskey. I should have made him... I don't know. We'll do the next guy differently. A hairy grin greets you, and the bottle is greedily snatched. There is a long and noisy glugging, followed by a dissonant belch. He turns back to his phone for a few minutes before noticing you are still here. There. With a sheepish grin, he explains that he is in fact not the Ferryman, that he finds boats and other water-bound vessels very unpleasant, and that he must now attend to other important matters. Whoa, poof! A figure you are certain was not here a moment ago sits in a long, waterproof coat and hat, immersing a glass of black wine. I like your coat and hat. He gives a curt nod, and through a series of gestures and shrugs, conveys that he will meet you at the ferry in a few moments. Well, I'm gonna walk down there and see what happens, I guess. And by walk, I mean borderline hobble. Creep, creep. It's like I'm on stilts, or I've never used legs before.
I'm just learning. Hold your horses, I'm a-coming. Just a little closer. A little closer.
Made it. He's fast and sneaky. The ferryman gives you a look, suggesting it is time to depart. And so we shall. Poof! The ferry. The fair, ferry, fair. Ooh, I like this ferry. It's up to you. The ferryman silently guides the vessel. Okay, this river's wide enough I could not have ferried myself across. I didn't realize it was a wide enough river to require a sail. I thought it was like a pole kind of situation, or maybe even a rope. The ferryman silently guides the vessel, resolute and inscrutable. He offers no acknowledgement of your presence, though you think you can just about hear the murmurs of a faint shanty being hummed beneath the hat. Look at, he's head see-through. The invisible ferryman. A wispish female figure of almost translucent paleness stands staring out across the gliding river. She turns to you and you gasp as eye contact is established, such is the stark melancholy of her expression. Hey, where you going? Eyes wavering and distant, she intones is a gossamer whisper. You cannot quite comprehend, though a few phrases loom out. A craggy tower, a distant hilltop, a glittery city. Her murmuring trails off and she turns away to watch the horizon. Tower, hilltop, I don't care about city. Let's go tower. The barest trace of a whisper from alabaster lips. Hushed allusions to fog-shrouded reeds and a sparse, lonely room. Then silence. Alrighty then. You're looking at the front of the boat, guy. You gotta angle it a little higher. Also, it's a little nightimey. A disheveled figure with a foreboding moustache, one eye is grimly joined to a dark metallic telescope, scanning the black waters of the river. He speaks in a low, distracted voice, his gaze never shifting. It is not what I'm looking at that should concern you, but what I'm looking for. Behemoths and leviathans, dark slippery hulks beneath the waters, constant vigilance is a necessity. Ask about those things. Indeed, perhaps submersibles filled with terror, or lumen inflations and ruinations, it is all out there biding its time in the water of gloom. Constant vigilance, stranger. Constant vigilance. I agree with him. Then you understand why I must maintain my watch. Seek out the complete Doommonger's Almanac, or perhaps there is nothing to fear but everything. Two very informative pieces of literature on the subject. I have talked to everybody. Now what? You stand as a nautical figurehead on the prow and survey the glittering firmament. The river air is brisk and peaty, and grants you a fine sense of earthy refreshment. I'm gonna look for shooting stars. He's already looking for weird shapes. We're gonna get eaten by a Gorham whale. Gosh dang it. What is that? Oh, it's just a duck. You made me paranoid there, old man. I like your scarf, I like your mustache. I like your telescope. This whole ferry's full of cool cats, quite frankly. You guys stay on the boat, I guess. I'm just gonna go ashore. I'm not sure how that sail works either. It's more like a flag than anything else. A trail here leads downwards, deeper into marshy flatlands. The marsh. Well, that sounds cool. Whoa, I like you too. All these guys are cool. That sheep's a little weird. Don't like that sheep so much. I like this old guy though. Let's talk to him in the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you then. Here's your catchphrase.